Good morning. This is the 27th of April, and I have in front of me, and you might be able to read it, the Lawyer's Weekly. And it has a story about patronage claims emerge from former Crown Counsel, or Crown Agent. Can't even read this morning. First of all, what it says is that the Liberal Party solicited funds from Mr. Michael Galambos, a Crown prosecutor in Coquitlam. And that corporation in 2001 and 2 earned $1.2 million from Ottawa in each of those 2 years. However, in 2004, Galambos declared personal bankruptcy and shut down his firm, citing the recent loss of most of the Department of Justice contract work and the bulk of his revenue. He recently claimed under oath in BC's civil case, triggered by his bankruptcy, that in 2003, then Justice Minister Martin Cauchon advised him that if Galambos wanted DOJ prosecution's work, Galambos should purchase tables at a fundraiser for Paul Martin's leadership bid that fall. Galambos did ultimately buy 3 tables at $5,000 each, according to a factum filed in this case in the Supreme Court of Canada. Cauchon emphatically denied he had any conversation with Galambos that linked Liberal donations to government work. That is not, quote, that is not true, no, impossible, and for Paul Martin impossible, stressed Cauchon. I would not have said that, that's for sure, added the staunch Chrétien loyalist, who fiercely opposed Martin's leadership bid and was dropped as a minister when Martin named his first cabinet in February 2004. Cauchon said he doesn't know Galambos, although he said he might have bumped into the BC Liberal, or the BC lawyer at a Liberal Party gathering. Well, whether or not Mr. Galambos owed his $1.2 or $1.3 million to any Liberal connections or not, I have no idea. And it really doesn't matter, because what it points to is what Canada is all about. Canada is all about patronage. It started with the Family Compact, which was a phrase used to define the government of, quote, Upper Canada. And that is, of course, a state of mind rather than a geographical location. And it was a group of friends, basically, who ran Upper Canada and Canada as a whole in the early days. It was a subject that William Lyon Mackenzie used to talk about when he started the rebellion of 1837. But what's been going on in the last 150 years is very simply that the Family Compact runs Canada through a patronage system. Really, every appointment of any significance is based on whether you are or not one of our friends. And by that I mean whether you're Liberal or Conservative, whether you accept the Central Canadian Party line. And the Central Canadian Party line has basically been a disaster for Western Canada. And that's particularly why all those people who have joined the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, or now basically Mr. Harper and his friends, have been traitors to Western Canada in the interests of patronage. They have been given trips to foreign countries in the winter to study the parliamentary system if they're low-level MPs. They have been given all kinds of benefits and perks that make them happy to be in Ottawa, which is, after all, not the nicest place in the world to spend the winter. Basically, Canada is based on patronage. And that's why, if we're going to ever achieve a government based on the interests of the people and referendum initiative and recall and the whole idea of Western Canada being a proud free nation, we're going to have to escape from the patronage system that is the Canadian way. Away with traitors one and all, you've sold yourself to Ottawa, was a phrase used by Mr. Craig in Nova Scotia when Joseph Howe changed sides from the Separatist movement into the movement for the Conservative Party, or the Liberal Party, I guess it was at that time. So, away with traitors one and all, you sold yourself to Ottawa. That's what every Conservative really has done. He's become Ottawa's representative in the West, not the West's representative in Ottawa. And their function is, as all the Liberals and all the NDP are, to rationalize the Canadian way. They're part of the Canadian establishment. They're the Ottawa-based Ontario Party, which pleases themselves and buys themselves offices and buys themselves power and perks and nice trips to different places and all the little trappings that go with being the patronage system of Canada. We therefore have to realize that if corruption is ever going to end, and if politics is ever going to be meaningful, it is going to have to be when we free the West and create a nation of, for, and by the people of Western Canada, which will create the kind of government we need and want for Western Canadians. So that's patronage and the Canadian way. That's one of the main reasons we should free the West.